Welcome back, VC. Mark here. I thought I would switch things up a little bit and fall off of the recent vinyl finds, the flea market finds videos, and feature an artist that I really love. That would be Lenny Kravitz. Lenny Kravitz was a guest artist on the Arsenio Hall show back in the day. I watched that show religiously. Arsenio broke so many hip-hop acts, so many great R&B artists. Lenny's performance that night just blew me away. His band, his look. He performed Let Love Rule. That song, just incredible. After school the following day, I drove to my local record shop and picked up the album. This is that copy, Let Love Rule. A masterwork right out of the gate. Lenny is such a phenomenal songwriter, musician. This album was recorded in 1989. Everyone was falling off of the analog platform. CD was king. Digital recording was taking over the industry. I believe Pro Tools was in its infancy. I just can't imagine this album having the power, the nuance, just the breadth of beauty being recorded in a Pro Tools environment. Lenny produced and wrote all of the songs on this album, except for two. Those two he wrote with his then wife, Lisa Bonet. Lenny played most of the instruments on this album. He is a phenomenal guitar player, very proficient on bass and drums. His engineer, Henry Hirsch, played piano and Hammond B3. Phenomenal player. Henry had a huge impact on the sound of this album. This album was recorded to tape on a vintage console. All of the outboard gear was vintage. This album is blessed by not having that 80s sheen on it. Lenny was a huge fan of John Lennon. He loved the Beatles, but specifically, he really loved John's solo work. It just really touched his soul. He would play Plastic Ono Band over and over and over again. It just affected him in such a powerful way. You can hear the influence that Plastic Ono Band had all through this album. The sparse arrangements, the way in which Lenny channeled so much pain and pleasure through the vocals. I never fully understood who John was until he composed Plastic Ono Band. I caught a glimpse here and there through his compositions with the Beatles, but it wasn't until after hearing Working Class Hero, Mother, Love, that I really understood John. I really felt a kinship with Lenny and his music right out of the gate. I'm just going to go through some of the tracks, tell you some of my favorites. The album starts off with Sitting on Top of the World, kind of whispers its way in, kind of a 60s psychedelic type groove. That flows right into Let Love Rule. Henry's organ work on that song is exceptional. The settings were just perfect. The Leslie speaker, the stops on the organ, very gospel sounding. Lenny's vocals, recorded so hot, clipping at times, but having all that raw emotion come through. Unbelievable. Love that song. Mr. Cab Driver is the rocker on the album. Lenny's riff is just incredible. That's Lenny telling all of the New York cab drivers to go fuck themselves. Lenny tells the story of how he could not catch a cab in New York City. He had dreads. He was a young black man. They would all pass him by, would never stop for him. That was back in 1989. Unfortunately, the climate that we live in hasn't changed too much. I Build This Garden for Us is a perfect blend of 60s rock, psychedelic, soul. Just a perfect song. There are many conversations throughout the vinyl community in which people discuss the resurgence of vinyl, of analog. Lenny's name is never brought up. Lenny never fell off that platform. He always stayed true to an analog sound, was always meticulous in how he would have his albums produced, and he produced some of the greatest albums of the 90s. So if you don't know his music, please check it out. He's a phenomenal artist. I have all of his CDs and or vinyl recordings. His first three are really phenomenal. 3 knockouts in a row. Mama Said is the second release, which is his breakup album. And then Are You Gonna Go My Way which is just phenomenal. You know what? I have, excuse me. Sorry about that. This is my original copy of Are You Gonna Go My Way? Just a phenomenal album. I believe Craig Ross was with him at the time. He's a phenomenal guitarist. Cindy Blackman played drums. Check out some of their live concerts. She is just incredible. Really great packaging on this album. Great picture of Lenny. This came with this great booklet. This cat has so much style, he doesn't know what to do with it. That is badass, guys. Great Virgin center label, and this was released on clear vinyl. Really phenomenal packaging. This came with a bonus CD with 8 unreleased tracks. It was kind of built right into the album sleeve. If I can get it out here. All right, thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it. Stay safe.